He's had an up-close and personal look at Wisconsin politics, and now former State Senator Tim Cullen has written a book about his experiences. Cullen served in the State Senate in the 1970s and 80s, and then again from 2010 to 2014. He also served as a secretary in former Governor Tommy Thompson's administration. He calls his book Ringside Seat, Wisconsin Politics, the 1970s to Scott Walker, and the book comes out this week. The Janesville Democrat joins us now on Up Front. Senator Cullen, it's good to have you back on the program.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be on. Thank you.
Why did you decide to write this?
Well, I decided to write it because when I came back for the second time, I realized how different Wisconsin politics had become compared to the 70s. I wasn't naive that it had changed, but to be there and see it and feel it, I thought there was just something that I had a first-hand look at, ringside seat, if you will. And I thought maybe I would, as a retired guy, I'd just write about it. I'd never written a book before, so.
What were the biggest changes that you saw?
Well, the biggest changes was that the politics had become so divided. Simply, for example, you used to have one lobbyist who could work the Democrats and the Republicans. By 2000, you had to have a Democratic lobbyist and a Republican lobbyist. WEAC, the teachers union, used to endorse Republican state senators who were supportive of them. WMC used to stay out of Democratic races in the 70s. By the 2000s, they were both all in, WEAC with the Democrats, WMC with the Republicans. Leadership centralizing legislative campaigns in their control, getting involved in primaries, deciding who gets the money, and on and on. Almost everything had changed between the 70s and when I came back.
You're pretty tough on Governor Walker in this book, and I think you say at some point that it became very clear, or at least it's clear to you now, that in your opinion he was running for president from day one, the day after he was elected governor.
Well, that's the way it looks as I've seen it unfold. It wasn't clear to me that first month, but certainly was even more clear then by the way he handled Act 10 and the national attention he got and how he became a darling of the right for his attempt to destroy the public unions. It was clear to me that that was his agenda.
I want to spend just a moment on the whole Act 10 episode in this book, because you write at length about it. You were one of the Democrats who went to Illinois, even though you wondered how you were going to come back. But at some point in this process, as this stalemate went on for a while, you had some talks with representatives of the governor, and some of those talks centered on whether or not some collective bargaining could have been preserved. Did you think you were close to having some of the collective bargaining rights, as people call them, staying in existence if you've been able to close that deal?
Yes, I do, especially on that Sunday, March 6th, which was shortly before they passed the bill. It all blew up later that week. But and all the negotiations were in exchange for us coming back, not to come back and support the bill, but just to come back. My goal was to save the ability to have collective bargaining. We weren't going to. They were still going to have to pay, public employees pay more for their pension and their health insurance. That wasn't going to change. But the ability to negotiate workplace safety and their wages were, I think, two things that would have kept collective bargaining alive, and more importantly for the whole state, could very possibly have tamped down this political war which was churning and going. We may not have had the recalls. We may not have had that whole war, the political war that took the whole next year.
You've said that you think over time people will look back at Governor Walker's time as governor, and it will be an aberration compared to his predecessors. In what sense?
In the sense that his 12 predecessors, who were by coincidence were 6 Democrats and 6 Republicans, all governed somewhere near the center. Republicans center right, Democrats center left. And that's what I think Wisconsin came to expect, and I think Wisconsin liked. Generally speaking, 60% of the state liked that, I believe. This governor ignored the direction of his 12 predecessors and governed only from the right. And I don't think that's where Wisconsin is as a state. We have too much in common. I talk a lot about all the things Wisconsin citizens have in common. And this angry divide, which still exists today, I feel it and see it still myself, I think is a passing time. And post-Walker, I think there's a real chance we can get back to more the way his 12 predecessors governed.
You said you wrote this book because you felt like you wanted to write it, but the money, you're not making money from this book. Where's the money going?
The money's going to a foundation that I started in Janesville that provides scholarships for students of color in Janesville who want to be teachers. And it helps pay their way through college in exchange for them coming back to Janesville to teach. Janesville, like many communities, was once largely all white. Now it's racially diverse, but the teachers are still almost all white, and 26% of the kids are kids of color. So trying to make them look a little bit more like each other, I think, is a good thing.
Former State Senator Tim Cullen, the Democrat from Janesville, the author of Ringside Seat. Book comes out this week. Good to have you back on the program.
Thank you very much, Mike.
You bet. Coming up next, a strong housing market in Wisconsin, how a hike in interest rates might affect it. And remember, for political news and information throughout the week, you can follow me at Mike Goucher on Twitter.